Hello there, guys. How are we all doing today? We are going to be jumping into the ESL Apex Legends Premiership powered by Intel. But how are you doing, Charlie?
I'm really looking forward to today. I mean, this is going to be our first day watching the ESL Apex, and I think that's going to be really exciting. Obviously, we've caught up with a few of the previous games, and I think it's really been exciting already what we've got to see. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think that today's going to be like no other. But let's jump back a bit. Let's see how things went last week, and we can or yesterday, in fact, and we can talk about what that what was going on there. So
I think
obviously,
we've had some really exciting results in general. I think no surprise by anyone. UTFT Fred right up there at the top, right where they sort of seem to belong.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, they're looking really, really good. I feel like, we heard it yesterday, and I think we're going to be saying it again today. I think UTFT are just a little bit above all of the rest. It seems though it might just be a little bit of a battle for second place, but, it's still going to be a great set of games. You can't really just fully determine UTFT are going to take it, because obviously there's still some strong teams out there. It's nothing is guaranteed. Obviously, they are looking brilliant. I don't think we're going to see anything different today, but you never know. You really do never know. But yes, some really, really nice games yesterday. Something I have to say, UTFT, in that third round of yesterday, they were on less points than Chess. They were on 31 points before the end of the day. And in that last game, they overtook them right at the end, ending the day with 58 points, which is absolutely ridiculous. Able to get 27 in that final map. It just goes to show that not only are they playing for placement, they're trying to get those dubs, they're getting the kills as well. And that is really what's given them so many points in the previous games. And I think that's definitely what we're going to be seeing here today.
Yeah, UTFT. I mean, yesterday, strangely, Fred, in round two, we actually sort of saw that they're human a bit.
Yeah,
Only
definitely.
2 points in that second round, and that was a bit of a surprise to everybody. Yeah, Jets definitely looked like they could be the team to take the top spot, really, on that day, but it really wasn't to be. They ended up having a bit of a tough final round, really couldn't set anything in motion, and it really did allow that platform for UTFT to once again be that victors of the third day.
Yeah, obviously, we've got some other names in here. I feel like you have to mention, obviously, Murky, Franco, British Union, Chet, Mythic as well, Gang Gang. They're all kind of teams that are going to be battling for that kind of second, third position. Obviously, UTFT are a bit above, but there is still that block between the rest. Gang Gang are on the lowest points out of those five, being on 92, and then you jump down to Dream Chasers, 57. So it's clear that there's a bit of a kind of a shift in ability between the whole server. So there is going to be that slight divide, and that is what's allowed these topper teams, these kind of more in-depth sides, to just be able to thrive, because there is that slight imbalance.
Fred, a team I want to talk about from yesterday, Mythic. What do we think went wrong there? I mean, they looked so great. We can see them in the standings. Overall, they are fifth, but in general, they had third place finishes on day one and day two. It was yesterday that they really had a tough time at things. Why do you think that is? Do you think that's potentially just because the more we're going into the tournament, maybe the teams are more and more comfortable? Obviously, they're facing off against the same team every single time. Do you think that potentially you've got teams like UTFT who are so much more confident now that maybe they'll take these gunfights, and a team like Mythic just can't catch up?
I think it could have that essence to it, but I think at the same time, potentially just a bad day at the office. Obviously, they finished yesterday, in eighth out of every single side. It's clear that it was a tough day for them, obviously finishing top three in the first two. So it's clear that, the side maybe just had a bad day at the office, or it could be potentially UTFT trying to just take out the rivals, make things a little bit easier for them. But yeah, I think Mythic, they're definitely going to be showing up here today. I feel like a lot of the teams are going to be looking really, really strong. But I think that first day, I really like how everyone played. It was very passive. Everyone was kind of playing for placement, and then we saw people kind of lean in, gain that confidence, because it's the same it's the same players in the server, it's the same teams, it's the same landings. Everyone's going to have that comfort, and you are just eventually going to be seeing a lot more confidence as the days go on. So I can't wait to see what today's going to be like. I think we're going to be seeing a real brawl between all of the teams, but obviously, let's forget about UTFT. Any predictions for those kind of second to fifth place teams? Who do you think is going to be stepping up today?
Yeah, I mean, that is what's going to be interesting. I think you mentioned it. We've really seen as the tournaments progress, teams sort of come out of their shell a little bit. Teams that were playing a lot more passive earlier on have sort of taken these early brawls, these early engagements. I mean, it always makes fun Apex to watch at the end of the day. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that. So I think potentially it could come down to the kills. And there's a few teams that we see on the leaderboard really where there may be a lacking a little bit behind in terms of kills, but but in terms of the points they are going to be there. I think today we're going to really see these kills and the points that come from that be so valuable. So I think teams like Gang, teams like Mythic, sorry, could be the ones to start to push up that leaderboard a little bit more and try to challenge for that second place.
Yeah, obviously you've got to mention, Murky and Franco British Union. They have 2 wins less than than Chez. They both only have 1 win, but they're still higher in the table rankings just because of the fact they are gaining so many more kills. So potentially a lot of teams are going to be looking back over the last couple of weeks, especially Chez, thinking, yes, we've got 3 wins, but how valuable really is that? Let's go for a bit more of an aggressive playstyle. Try and get yourself in, the top 3, maybe top 4, but maybe getting, 10 plus kills a game, because that really is going to help you out. Something though you mentioned, obviously with that UTFT side, gaining 2 points the other day, it shows not only can they have their weaknesses, but alone that, their average points per game is 15.6. And for them to have a 2 point game, you've got to see not only is that going to affect the average, but also they're gaining so many points just from kills, from placement. And in comparison to a lot of other teams who are kind of going to have those high highs, maybe getting those 20 plus kill games, but they are still falling short. I feel like the fact that UTFT have, so much strength is because of that consistency. They are gaining 10 plus kills again. They are getting themselves into top 3, and it's making them, really, really dangerous, not just in the server, but also kind of with the mentality, because there's always a mindset when it comes to these battle royales. You come into a game, you're potentially maybe 7th, 8th on the leaderboard, and you've got UTFT that you've got to face at some point, because you can't win it without fighting UTFT at one point. So it's going to be a tough one for a lot of the other teams, but should be a great day.
I think something that's going to be interesting for them, we're going to be talking about it a little bit more often, and I think something that's going to really determine how today's going to go is the champs that we're going to see, the compositions of these teams. Let's have a quick look at this statistic in terms of the percentages. Are there any surprises here, or are you sort of expecting people like Valkyrie, Horizon to be near the top?
I think that obviously Valkyrie is always going to be up the top. The fast rotations is always going to be a major benefit. Something I do like to see is Watson in the mix. I feel like sometimes you will see those legends not being selected as much, but it's clear that sometimes Watson will just be a bit more of a comfort pick. I feel like a lot of players here, they will want to pick players like, obviously, Seer, Horizon, Valkyrie, that's why they're at the top. But if you're having, a bad first 2 rounds, let's go back to the comfort. Let's go back to one of those legends you've been playing for years and you really do have that strength on. And it's clear to see that's what we're seeing. We've got Bangalore 2%, Pathfinder as well. The one legend that I'm a little bit disappointed to not see as much from is Crypto. I feel like we could see a little bit more from Crypto, but I feel like Seer seemingly is just the better scout to play, really. The information gathered from Seer is just so strong, so that's why we do have that influx of Seer picks, really.
I do think there's a pretty massive divide just between Valkyrie, Horizon, Seer, and then the rest of the legends.
Yeah,
it's quite clear that these 3 are the most favored out of all the legends, and it's no surprise why. I think, like you said, you've got Seer, who is just in general, in terms of the reconning that can be done, is just so impactful. And I think that's a massive thing when you look at it. Valkyrie with the rotations, like you mentioned, what they can provide, and just the sort of movement of Horizon that can be gained on an individual level. And what they can also bring to the team as well, I think is something that is quite tough to replicate between certain champs. And I think it's no surprise that those 3 are right there at the top.
I really like the combination of kind of Seer and Horizon in those gunfights, in those close quarters activities. You see the Seer ult getting popped, all that information gathered, and then Horizon just sends himself up at the top of the building, takes everyone down. It's nice to see those combinations, because I feel like sometimes that does really go a little bit kind of amiss, really. You sometimes will see a lot of heroes, a lot of legends are going to be using their ultimates individually, usually as an escape, because if you're getting chased down, you're getting hunted down, you're not even in the zone yet, you need to rotate in. That's where you'll see those ultimates being popped. But it's nice to see when you see them kind of being aggressively used to take some space, to take a gunfight, upgrade your weaponry and utility, and then you can kind of just focus on the next one. And I feel like sometimes you will see that a lot, and I really hope to see a bit of a Horizon Seer mashup here when we do see the gunfights commence.
I mean, similar to what you were saying there, that's one thing that I'm really looking forward to about seeing a bit of Valkyrie. Obviously with that ult being able to be popped, I think the thing that's exciting about that, you can use it in so many different ways. You can take a gunfight with one team and instantly just go to the other side of the map, really. Well, not to that extreme, but not far off at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
no,
And
definitely. No.
especially late game, when the ring has closed significantly, you really can just take a lot of engagements. You can use it as an information play. Just use that spot what sort of teams are around, relay that to your team, and obviously the team can sort of play from there. It
Yeah.
just gives a lot of different ideas in terms of how you can play. You can use it as escape, and I'm sure we're going to see that a few times today if things do get a little bit dicey. But that's one thing I love about Valkyrie. It really, even it can be just game dependent. If you're having a bit of a tough time at things, if you're feeling a little bit locked out, you're not really hitting your shots, you can just play a bit more for placement, or
Yeah,
you
definitely.
can just play really up in the face of the enemies really aggressively. So I think there's a space for Valkyrie really on everybody's team comp.
Well, yeah, that's clearly why the high pick rate. It's definitely why. And I think as well, not only is it kind of utilized early on for those fast rotations, you go for a bit of a drop in the corner of the map, keep yourself safe, don't really want to take any gunfights early, and then you realize the ring's completely on the other side. A Valkyrie ult will obviously help you out massively. But I think as well, you mentioned it towards right at the end of the game, there might be 3 squads left, and the best thing you can do, what, I don't want to take a gunfight. Let's just Valkyrie ult, get myself a high in the sky, and we'll let the other ones we'll let them fight it out just to get that second place. So it's nice to see. Hopefully we don't see any ult fumbles though. I do believe we've seen a couple in the last couple of days, just the accidental pressing of it, and it really affects the whole game, especially on a player like Valkyrie. You're popping an ult where you're safe in the zone, and then obviously the rotations next, you might get third party, you might get forced off your position, and then you don't have that safety net. You don't have that kind of position where you can just, you know what, I'm getting out of here. So hopefully we don't see any fumbles of that, but it should be a nice set of games we do see here today. Obviously, I spoke about how UTFT are very much high above, whereas the rest of the teams, they are going to be battling it out for second. If you had to pick a side, Charlie, who do you think is going to be fragging today?
It's going to be, apart from UTFT?
Yeah. Not allowed to claim UTFT.
Yeah, always just know that they're always...
Yeah.
To be fair, they do look pretty unbeatable most of the time. So yeah, I think that's fair enough. I think we're going to see... I'm expecting a team like Murky to actually step up a little more than they have in previous weeks. Day one, they looked unbelievable. They looked really strong, but it has slowed down a little bit. One thing I do want to point out, though, Fred, they are second in the leaderboard in terms of kills. So it's not like they've been slowing down in that department at all. I think it's been placements that slightly hindered them here or there. So potentially they are getting slightly too aggressive in some of these gunfights. Maybe, they're getting the kills, but maybe it's just the placement points that they are lacking. I'm hoping that's going to be something a little bit different today. Maybe there's a bit more controlled aggression. They think about it a little bit more. And then there's no reason why they can't challenge a team like UTFT. So I'm going to actually shout them out a little bit. They've had a couple of tough last 2 weeks. 8th on day 2, 5th yesterday as well. So it's not been perfect from them, but certainly there's no reason why they can't turn it around.
I'm going to pick a similar kind of mindset to you, but the opposite. I'm going to say Chess. Obviously they've got their placement points, they've got those wins on the board, but I think maybe let's see a little bit more aggression from them. They're clearly good enough to get themselves in the top spots. Let's see them take those battles potentially early on, and it will set them up for that early success. So hopefully, we'll see a little bit more structured aggression from your side, and then obviously Chets can be getting a bit up in the face of their opponents, get some more kills on the tally, and that could progress them up to second. But this should be an absolutely amazing day. Obviously, we spoke about the top 5. Let's speak a little bit lower down on the leaderboards right now. Any team that you think, are quite down in the dumps and need to change things up?
Well, it's interesting. So there's quite a few teams down near the bottom sort of end of the leaderboard that I think is going to be really interesting to talk about. One I do really love the idea of in terms of the playstyle really is Preds of the West. Fred, they've only got 10 kills. They've played quite a lot of rounds. They've only got 10 kills, but they've still got more points than teams like Eco, who have double their kills, but they've got significantly more points. So the playstyle they're playing is a lot more timid. But it's getting them points on the leaderboard at the end of the day. But maybe they do have to sort of incorporate a few more gunfights into those situations, because it does feel a little bit more like, okay, let's just play for placement here. We do that. And at the end of the day, they are getting those points, but obviously there's a clear lack of the points in terms of the kills.
It would be nice to see a little bit of a merge. Obviously, I feel like, we talk about this time and time again. When you go for those early gunfights, it's a bit of a flip of a coin, a bit of a 50-50, and you are going to be taking a major risk trying to take a gunfight early on, because it could just come down to, I don't really have the best weapon at the moment. I've got a longbow and maybe a Mozambique. Obviously, we've seen a lot of players use those weapons to a very high standard, but it seems as though we are going to be jumping straight into the action. But yeah, I think maybe Preds of the West, maybe take a bit of a risk, an early gunfight, get some kills on the board, and then you can kind of just play things a little slower. But it seems as though we are going to be going into it.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm looking forward to. This is my favorite part of Apex, just these early drops, potentially early gunfights where everyone's frantically just trying to get the equipment as quick as possible.
Yeah, do you think there's going to be any kind of early engagements at these hotspots? I feel like time and time again, we do see a little bit more of a kind of a safety spread, you could say, around the map. I'd love to see maybe, 2-3 squads instantly dropping all together, and we just see, a couple teams getting annihilated early on. Love those early gunfights.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no reason why not. Teams like UTFT, they seem to be winning most of the engagements. You've got to think, with how previous results have gone, they're going to be brimming with confidence. There's no reason why they won't want to take some gunfights, but onto the West, they potentially are going to be having a few engagements that we were talking about, Fred.
Oh, I like to see it straight away. Blade pushing in, has been cracked already, dropped down to half HP, forcing himself round, could find an early kill here. They are getting super aggressive, just going to try and back away. Oh, Kiranuzi and Lightspeed already been dropped. It's all going to be on Blade here. Going to have to clutch up massively. Could look for a cheeky res, but we'll just play things slowly. This will allow Pet 3 get that health back up. Blade's really going to be in a troublesome time here. Pushing with the Mastiff. Oh, shield's been cracked, and there it is. The early aggression from Pred to the West not working out all too well for them. A devastating start for them. They usually go for the placements, but not in this one. There we have it, eliminated already.
Yeah, really unfortunate stuff there from Pred to the West. I mean, it's a bit of a question mark that we've seen previously from that side, that even if people do drop early, sometimes they do just back away. They play it in those sort of 1v3 situations. They play against the squads and just play for the placement, let all the other teams battle it out, and try to see if you can get a sneaky few placement points. But no chance in this one. Pred to the West, Fred, they're already dropped.
Yeah, sad times for them. It seems as though Sunny Bloom, they might be getting crunched in on, as we do see UTFT slowly creeping ever closer. Definitely a side I wouldn't want right behind me. I think UTFT are going to give them some respect, though. They're just going to allow them to rotate through. I say that, Tax being very aggressive here. Oh, it's going to be a mere matter of seconds before a gunfight commences.
I mean, I'm sure UTFT, they're no strangers to taking some of these fights. And most of the time, I wouldn't be surprised if they are going to be the ones pressuring the issue. Oh,
into the vault they go as well. Going to be gaining all the equipment there. I feel like no team here is going to try and contest that. Talk about contesting, no. You have a team currently locked in. Dream Chasers just sitting up on the high ground, trying to deal some chip damage, but once again, a little bit of respect to one another. Oh, I say that. Oh, the block gets cancelled.
Yeah, the damage taken, there's that very minor frame. It's just a few seconds. But it looked like that was the main goal. I'm not sure what team that was that actually denied that.
UTFT, of course it was.
They see that ult's coming through, just that chip damage. They know they're not going to be able to get the kill. It's just to deny the ult, force these players to remain here in UTFT. They're closing in, Fred.
Oh, Milo's trapped. There's nowhere to go. Nade's coming over. The aggressive play should come through now. And they're still looting. They're getting the equipment. They want some more thermite grenades. Anything to make this fight easier. It's a big ultimate there. Oh, UTFT taking a lot of damage.
And Ned's trying to get this shield on. Is going to be allowed to.
The thing is, well, if UTFT go down early, obviously we mentioned round 2 of yesterday, they did fall very early on. It gives that kind of open playing field for the rest of the side.
It's interesting, Fred. Are we going to see UTFT actually respect this here?
I think they have to.
It did look like that. I mean, they were very up in the midst of things, really. They really were close by, ready to take this action. But yeah, it looks like they maybe don't want to go for it so much anymore. Maybe they're starting to realize, okay, yeah, let's not fall early, boys. Let's not take any risks. See a bit of Horizon's abilities there, but not being used too much. Just get out of dodge.
Well, maybe they just kind of are a bit shaken. Maybe there is a slight loss of confidence from that game the other day. Oh, well, seems as though Coach and Nickbod gonna try and finish what UTFT started. Coach in the back lines here. They're all trapped in the house, completely isolated. It's gonna be an absolute bloodbath.
Question will be, Fred, will they even be able to get away with anything?
It seems as though
being dumped out. They've got all the information they need.
they're in a similar situation to what UTFT were in. Oh, what is this?
Yeah, I can't blame that they don't want to take that engagement too much. This looks like a death trap and a half, really, but they are taking some fights.
I did mention, Charlie, love a bit of Watson.
Yeah, this isn't going to be easy for any team to try to take.
You ain't getting in our house. This is our safe haven.
You look at it from an outside perspective, Freddie, you couldn't really think there's a worse position to be in, just sort of trapped in this house, teams all around you, and yet somehow they are sort of holding their ground, forcing these teams back.
Ooh, Trivia. Chipped down massively. Well, dealing some damage here. Gonna look for an opener. Mastiff at range, but it's working out, getting super aggressive. We spoke about the movement that you can have on Horizon, but really not working out. And it seems as though it's just Coach remaining, searching for a pick with a Mastiff. 3 bullets remaining, but it doesn't even matter. They go down. And Dream Chasers, they do eventually gain the kills. They find those 3 in the house. As they emerge, they get eliminated.
It did look good there for a second. Horizon's the movement, I mean, it looked perfect. The damage was dealt, just no kill confirmed, and that was Chess being eliminated there, Fred. A team that did step up massively last week. Finished in 2nd place, but round 1 isn't going to be going too well from them here.
Once again, we see an aggressive start from UTFT, but they lose a player early on. Tax has gone down. Now the rotations might be a bit of a struggle for them. They're just trying to back away. UTFT could go down here. They've already lost 1 individual, and it could be a second sat in the zone right now. Not dealing all too much damage, but Ned's going to be searching for a pick here with the scout.
It's not really hitting the mark right now. Gotta just try to make his way back to the ring, taking significant damage. Could be caught out here.
What do you do? Ned's going to have to spend so much time in the zone here. Here's Franco Brett. There's JC spamming away with that scout.
Just inside the edge of the ring, but still room to play with.
And they're doing a great job at keeping UTFT just out of it.
Yeah, UTFT have had a tough time with things, actually, this game. Hasn't been as sort of smooth sailing as previous rounds have looked.
I don't think the banner can be retrieved either. UTFT, they've just given up tax there. Ooh, nice little bit of chip damage there from Clone.
A couple of legendary armors on the side of Franco Briz here.
It's looking good.
Chip away.
And look at the zone damage the UTFT have taken. They're going to have to deplete so many of their medical supplies.
We do see that.
Himself.
Yeah, we do see that Valkyrie ult there, Fred, just to try to get out of dodge. This is what we mentioned, can be used in so many ways. And just to try to sort of have a bit of breathing room here. Because it does feel like UTFT have been constantly pressured time after time. And Franco Brits, Fred, it looks like they want to take this engagement further.
Obviously, Franco Brits, they've looked great in the last couple of days, and I think they want to try and take out the top dog. They might get punished for it. Yes, you've got that extra man, but you do need to realize UTFT, they're no slouch. They'll punish you. Ooh, I like that. Gibraltar getting very aggressive here. AJX pushing for some control. And I wonder, are we going to be seeing a bit of a Franco Brits Valkyrie push?
Yeah, it could be. They do have their ult all up and ready. But the issue is, Fred, you can be a bit exposed. You can be very caught out. So the question will be for Franco Brits is it worth it? You know that UTFT are a man down. There's no real need to take that fight. But on the other side of the map, we've got a couple of teams battling out here.
And Excise amongst the lava. Petri just going to try and keep him alive at range. Oh, that is a laser beam there.
And Exide's actually using this time to get away now.
This is perfect. Petri with the R3 doing so much work at range. Although it's not that much damage in total, it's just that slight hesitant factor. Do we really want to push into this? You know, perfect positioning here. It's got the range, got the aim.
But Fred, it's more so the pressure. Exide's been able to get out.
Ooh, that's a shield crack there. Excite could in fact help Petri here. And this is what we're talking about, taking these gunfights, you really need to be ready for it. Obviously they wanted to push Excite, low HP, armored already been cracked, but now they've got themselves in a really tough position. They're going to be pushing for that zone. And Pet3 can just keep beaming from the high ground. We'll just back away, though.
Doing a great job for now. There's a little bit of information there. Obviously playing Sit. That is the bonus, the bit of the benefit. Pet3, though, is still going to be taking a lot of engagements. In a bit of a trapped position now.
It's quite awkward. So you're getting kind of penciled in, wedged in. Two squads searching for them. Obviously, they're in a bit of a disadvantage as well, just being a two-man team. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I wanted to see a little bit more crypto in the server. So much information gained there from Trivia.
Chasers still hot on the trail.
Oh, that is quite a lot of damage there.
Plenty of damage out. Pair 3. Teammate has fallen in the meantime. That's X side.
I wonder what Pet 3 does there. I think maybe just hide away underneath. Oh, okay.
Kipper, a lot of targets in his way. Placing down the minigun. Look how many teams, Fred, really close to each other. We could have a real brawl here, a real battle.
There's 4 squads. Pet 3 just... Oh, Pet 3's now been spotted. Surely his time in the server will be over soon. Well, in fact...
If you're Pet 3 here, what do you do? Do you just play for placements? Do you call it and say, okay, the team are gone at this point. There's so many bodies around. Do I have to just do what I can to try to keep myself alive?
Oh, definitely. You know, not only are you already in a 2 versus 3 disadvantage situation, you've lost your teammate. You're completely alone, facing off against some really top squads. I think you do just have to play for placement. Get yourself in a cubby, set up the boot camp, pitch a tent, and I guess that's just the best route.
And hope you can the wait out the storm.
Oh, exactly.
Obviously, as it does get later on, there will be squads that have been whittled away more, so Pet 3 can have a bit more of an easier time at things, but yeah, right now it's certainly going to be a tough situation.
I think Pet 3's real best chance, wait until there's maybe 2-3 squads remaining, get a little bit of third-party action, but it's going to be so tough. Trying to keep yourself alive with 6 other squads, most of them being teams of 3.
JC is closing in on these 2 players towards the house, but it could be his demise. He is isolated.
Do you believe they're, in fact, I'm pretty sure they're team.
Yeah.
I think you were getting confused with the colours there. Oh, don't worry, I do it all the time.
Another Valkyrie. It's on UTFT again, once again, rotating around the map.
And these Valkyrie ults, so important. UTFT, they've just got themselves in a nice position, ready for the third party. Obviously, they're in a disadvantage situation as well, losing tax so early on. And I think, you know, the second UTFT have, you know, lost one of their key members, they're going to be playing for placement as well. I don't think they're going to be going anywhere near as aggressive as we've seen them in the past.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. UTFT are the top dogs in terms of the kills, and by quite a significant amount, 28 kills more than any other team right now, so it really does just show their dominance. But yeah, they just can't take these gunfights to the same level that they could. I mean, they can late game, but right now when there's still full squads alive, they might have to be playing a bit more hesitant, just keep themselves alive. Like you said, play a bit more for placement, and when it does get closer to the end of the game, that's when they can maybe start to take more of these fights. But the fights are coming to them.
Just gonna try and back away once again. Don't know if you saw that, Deimos very far out of the action, and obviously will eventually be encroaching in. Obviously, the rotation is going to force him into a squad. When you're on your own, things are going to get really tough. Franco Brits, they're looking primed to take this. He's got the bow check. Okay.
Franco Brits have looked really impressive. I mean, second day, we did get that second place finish. I mean, still significantly behind UTFT, but maybe a bit of a grudge match here. Maybe that's why they've been applying so much pressure to them.
Cracked shield there with the bow. Just whittled it down. Well, now they're getting third party. Franco Brits just going to be falling back. Right call to make. They haven't really got much place to go. I think we might need to see a bit of an ultimate coming through from Valkyrie.
6 squads remaining right now.
Yeah, There it is. Rightly so. Get themselves in the next zone, get themselves primed.
Yeah, no one denying the ult this time. I mean, that's the issue with the Valkyrie ult. If it does just get denied, there's a decent cooldown on it as well, Fred. So you can be in an awkward situation. If that ult does get stopped, you can just be in an even worse one. No escape, you just got to try to make your way out.
Obviously, Franco Brits, they've dropped right into the action. They will be in the next zone as well. They're in a great position here, but there's a lot of teams by their side. Murky just trying to keep things going. 5 squads remaining now. Obviously, everyone here going to be happy with their placement. Now it's going to be thinking, who's going to be taking the crown? Which side will be the one to be the champions?
Yeah, Horizon did just pop the ult there, so it's going to be quite a while before they get that back. Going to have to be playing without their main ability. I feel like their Black Hole ability is actually not the main reason why people pick Horizon. It is certainly more for that movement.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, it's a little bit of an added bonus. You can certainly utilize maybe an Arc Star Thermite Grenade with the Black Hole, but...
I mean, yeah, I mean, you've got to think that... Oh, that's some significant damage being dealt there. JC. Using that Phoenix skill there, make sure get fully shielded and healed up.
JC as well using the bow check. Quite a situational weapon. Obviously, you can, you know, if you really are the Katniss Everdeen of Apex Legends, you can make things work at range with the bow, but... Oh, here's a big fight on our hands. Gang gonna be pushing into...
They've all been trapped in Horizon's ult there.
Oh. We have found 2 openers, and that's a brilliant fight there. Gang straight away. Oh, that was a disconnect, but no. Obviously just looting, now getting themselves out of that. Dream Chasers want some of the action. They want to try and take advantage of the low HP of some of these individuals, but they're not going to get the kind of opportunity to do so. I made a little grid around them. I love that Milo. Oh, so much damage inflicted. In fact, so close to knocking them down. Milo's coming for more. Oh, Milo, you go for an aggressive play, but it's taken down in the action. Combo does fall. Breaker very low. Kipper as well, needing to shield up. Oh, and that is so unfortunate. Drops right into the Hellhounds.
I couldn't really think of a worse place to drop if they wanted Murky. They think this is the perfect time to apply the pressure, and teams are trying to shield, teams are trying to res.
It could be right, in fact. So many players knocked at the moment. After this altercation, could be all to play with. There we have. Great bit of control from Murky.
Yeah, eliminating Gang there. Taking them out of it, but it is all on Jay, like you said.
And now we've got Dream Chasers who want some of the action. It seems though whichever team arrives here last will be the one to gain everything from this gunfight. Nice bit of movement there. Darkstar will take down Mash. And Murky, they've been dropped. 3 squads remaining now. Hunting for more here. Murky.
Franco Brits in the meantime just got eliminated there. That was the final player being taken down on their side. So 2 squads, Fred. Dream Chasers are looking really strong, and it's just Auglet. This is all about playing for placements, Fred.
Yeah, gonna get the placement, but surely gonna go down. Such a tough position. We mentioned Deimos before, rotating into the team, but did such a good job keeping himself alive. What a bloodbath that was right towards the end. Obviously, things kicked off kind of a little bit how they ended with some close quarters engagements, but I loved how that finished, and obviously a great match there for the Dream Chasers. Obviously, no longer chasing that dream as they have got their first win on the board now, but what are your thoughts after that one?
Yeah, it really was such an electric game. This is the engagement thread that I think changed everything. That Horizon ult, that huge. The black hole, 2 players caught out, shields broken, damage dealt left, right, and center, and it really set. It really set Gang what looked like could have been great from them, but Dream Chasers just under the building the whole time, sneak in there, just did the damage, found the kills, and it worked out perfectly from them.
So unfortunate for Breaker there, we mentioned it, just kind of dropped in and it all fell apart. But it seemed as though time and time again, it seemed like all the action was in that one room there. We saw players pushing in, trying to kind of be that third party, but there was always someone behind them, always someone waiting. But here we have it. Dream Chasers gaining 21 points that game. Absolutely brilliant stuff for them. Obviously, Franco, Brits doing a great job getting second. Murky as well, third. UTFT, only 3 points that game. Feel like we had another kind of situation we were in before. So UTFT, really not a great first match for them. Dream Chasers, Franco Brits, they put themselves a lot closer, similarly with Murky. So UTFT, we're going to need to see an amazing second round from them if they want to keep that gap. Obviously, it is still a ridiculous gap, a 71-point gap, but it can be closed down. It really, really can.
I mean, we massively need to talk about how important that is for Dream Chasers.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had not the greatest of games, really, or game days. They finished 10th, I believe, in both day 1 and day 2. Came 4th yesterday, which was big from them, but obviously starting things off very well here with that first victory. And really sort of turn around how this has been going for them so far. If they can continue this performance in the next few rounds, there's no reason why they can't really start to challenge for that sort of second place, even challenge UTFT if they are sort of going to have a bit of a tough time at things there. But talking about UFT, Fred, losing that first player early made things very difficult. I mean, we saw they were constantly trying to get out of danger, get out of dodge, using those Val Colts constantly just to try to reposition and rotate throughout the map. But what that did for them really is it felt like there was none of that potential threat about them.
Yeah,
losing
definitely.
that first player, there wasn't that danger that there is to UTFT. And obviously only 2 players, they went down pretty early as well, so you didn't even get many placement points.
Yeah, they were kind of always on that back foot. It seemed as though, they were kind of in the zone for quite a lot of their own gameplay, always trying to find an avenue back into it. But, it's not, they're not kind of the heroes here. They're not the top players. It's not as though there is that massive gap. And, you can't really 2v3. It is so tough. So they just kind of had to play a little bit on the back foot, play things passively. And they were right within the action. They were kind of in the swell, and it made things really tough for them. And that's why they really didn't get many points today.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, talking about a team like Predge of the West as well, going down so early, a team that loves to play for placements a lot of the time, didn't really give much chance here as they did get shut down by that constant aggression.
Yeah, I feel like, a team you have to mention, Auglis. Deimos completely on his lonesome, got himself to second place. Sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes that's really all you need. Playing for placement, put himself right in there.
Yeah, we will be going to a short break before we jump into the second round before this one.
Welcome back. Hopefully we should be jumping into this one very shortly, but any kind of final remarks before we hop into the action, Charlie?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting what's going to change from that game. Teams like Preds of the West, we know that a lot of the time they don't like taking these early engagements. So I wonder if we're just going to see completely avoiding everybody else here.
Yeah,
Obviously
maybe.
getting shut down instantly, very early on, didn't get much of a say in that one. So maybe we want to just avoid any of that confrontation early on. But teams like UTFT, yeah, potentially they're going to want to take some of that early aggression, but maybe in a better way, maybe reassert their dominance because they were the ones who they constantly felt like they were in really uncomfortable positions. We saw them early on, Fred, taking those fights, but we saw they were trapped out of positions. They lost the early man, and then they were on the back foot.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like they need to kind of have that structured aggression. It seemed as though there might be a little bit more, potentially a communication issue. Obviously, the one player got caught out. Maybe it was poor rotation. They just had that different mindset of, oh, half of us want to go in, half of us want to back out, and someone did just get kind of caught out on their own. You know what? Do I take the blame for that Preds of the West aggression push? No, I was talking about it before the game commenced, and then we see it and it doesn't work. Is that my fault?
I think they'll be happy to blame you. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think they'll blame you. So nothing's. No sweat off their back. But Fred, look at this. Look at Preds of the West right now. They're very close to some other teams here, so they could be back on that aggression, very close to Cat Jam, in fact. So we could be seeing a bit of an early fight from them once again.
Yeah, and I think as well they're already in a really good position. You can see the current zones. You can see where they are going to be ending up. It's nice for them. Obviously, we do see that UTFT supremacy towards the kind of northwest of the map. It seems as though everyone just gives it up.
Yeah, they see where they go and just say, yeah, anywhere else, please.
But they're giving up so much control. We've got trials, we've got countdown. You can even include Lava Fisher. It's completely open that they've just given to UTFT because no one really wants to go down early. And I feel like they definitely are the scariest squad here in the server. It does seem as though Sunny has a little bit of an inkling wanting to go over to Lava, but I reckon the rest of the team, Milo might just be saying, you know what, let's not do that yet. Let's not fight UTFT right now. Let's hope they lose a man early once again.
Yeah, Franco Brits, they're actually very close to Cat Jam and Preds of West. So there's a good chance we've got that three-man team fight coming in soon enough if they head towards that ring.
Usually it's, the two teams that kind of enter the altercation first will be the ones that are unable to get out of it. It seems as though kind of it's the last team there will be the kind of the only team getting out of it.
Just mob things up.
Yeah, exactly.
Steal all the loot, steal the frags, job done.
Getting with the cleanup. We played a couple games the other day. I don't think that was the play style we were going for. I think it was the similar to Preds of the West, maybe. Just let's hide in the corner and see how well we can do.
I mean, it's not been going too bad for Preds of the West. So, yeah, they've got a decent amount of points on the board. Yeah, kills have really not been going their way, but it's clearly not their play style. So it's what they're comfortable doing. So if that's what you need to do sometimes to get the points on the board, that's what you need to do.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe there's a slight difference between us and them and the ability, level. But
yeah, I would certainly be the one taking, sort of looking at where UTFT are and being okay. Let's avoid them.
I'm gonna pick the furthest place on the map and hope.
Yeah, I mean, good enough, I suppose. Good enough for some teams in this lobby. Good enough for us.
I think every other team should be looking definitely to have a Valkyrie in the midst. Because the second you see UTFT rolling over the hills, you definitely want to get yourself out of that.
I think Valkyrie in general is just such a good legend to have. Such a good champ for any team comp. I mean, we mentioned so many times just how good they can be regardless of the playstyle. And like UTFT, a lot of the time, we can see them wanting to use it for aggressive plays in previous days, previous rounds. But in the last game, where they were the ones who were always a bit limited, losing that early man, that's when they used it as that sort of get out, that escape, just a reposition. Yeah. So it just shows that even a team like UTFT, who are constantly the ones wanting to look for those gunfights, they can even use it in the other way. So yeah, Valkyrie, very versatile champion.
It's something that, we don't really see much of, which is, it's a bit sad for me. Something a bit close to home, a bit of Bloodhound. Was the champ I first started playing, or the Legends first started playing, playing Apex for about a year or two now. And he just doesn't get the love. He's a great scout. Get him in the midst. Well, there it is. Clone's playing a bit of Bloodhound. Love to see that. Predator's been popped. And it seems that a gunfight will commence.
Yeah, really aggressive here. Not too many things around just yet, but does take the shield. Playing against the Wraith, and champ that I actually love a bit. Don't see too much Wraith either. That is the shield broken, and you see Clone really getting aggressive here.
Clone many moons ahead of his team.
Yeah,
We'll just be backing away.
Yeah, just regroup here.
Let's not get caught out. Obviously, JC's not doing all too perfect for health either, but surely a gunfight's going to be coming through here. Both of the sides. Seems they're a bit tentative. They don't want to kind of take that early aggression, but I think at the same time, they want to get rid of a team. Oh, 6 bullets in the mag, only hitting 1. Bit of a blunder there from Kinda.
It's going to be Murky versus Franco Brits. 2 teams that we look at a lot of the time to think, yeah, they're going to be right up there on the leaderboard. A team could actually go out here.
Yep, would be a tough sight to see. Still with the wingman. I feel like the wingman is such a situational weapon. You know, if you hit those early couple headshots, then, you know, fair dues. Use that weapon to your likings, but it's not going all too well. Wingman back in play, though.
The Wraith ult. Maybe is a bit of a backup. Going to be dodging that for now, but there's always a bit of a contingency plan there. Getting heavily tested, yeah, as soon as it sort of gets low on ammo, gets out of dodge, runs.
Team's dead as well. We are just going to be seeing the res hit from Franco Brits. Yeah, I don't know. It was interesting that Kinda was doing so well on the R3. Switches to the wingman. And obviously, you know, you might not want the R3 out that close quarters situation, but you've been beaming with it. Just keep it going. Oh, Kinda's in such a tough situation. What are the meds looking like? Ooh, okay. 4 syringes. Is it going to be enough?
Yeah, I don't know, Fred. I don't even know if there's a chance that they can recover these banners. Doesn't have the ult, so it doesn't really have that fast level of movement. Obviously, it does have the Q, so it can get a bit of extra movement speed, but it's got to use these syringes, got to get back into the ring.
I think Kinda's still kind of looting a little bit, hoping for a medkit, hoping for something. Oh, no. Oh, getting fought as well. Nice bit of damage, but surely Kinda's going down. Might be a situation where take kind of mentality. If I'm going down, you're coming with me.
Yeah, it's going to use that Q. You can see just gets behind cover a little bit again.
Oh, got to get out of the missiles, Kinda. I think it's time for you to be getting kind of sat down there. Yeah, Love Murky. That aggression in the zone.
That's Murky getting eliminated early, Fred. It looked like there was going to be, it looked like there was going to be an interesting gunfight between the 2 teams. Maybe very up in the air, but yeah, Murky really completely caught out.
Oh, we do see Sunny Bloom taking some aggression. I think they're going to find out quite quickly that it's UTFT. Yeah, there we go. Those first early 6 shots all hitting. Yeah, that's got to be the UTFT, guys.
Going to be going for a little bit of that recon in, trying to find some information. Maybe UTFT do want to take this fight. They're a team that I wouldn't be surprised if they do.
There we have it. So many nades being sent.
Bombardment of utility here. Shields being broken.
Oh!
Even more. And this is going to be the perfect engagement. And just like that, Fred, Dream Chasers, last round's champions, get absolutely annihilated by the UTFT.
And that was, you know, primarily just with utility. They sent so many nades, couple of arc stars in there, and it was all over.
But Fred, they went in, all the shields are gone. Shields fully broken before they even went in. It was far too simple, but perfect. I mean, that's what happened. UTFT, they've just applied so much pressure, and that was Dream Chasers. They were caught in that house. We saw a similar play from Dream Chasers last game. Obviously, they're in the building. You just see they really denied anyone getting access from there, but this time, no chance. Just a util bombardment from UTFT, far too strong. Absolutely overwhelmed the Dream Chasers side, and they got no response.
Do you know what I love to see as well? Obviously, Deimos, currently a solo, trying to just get those placement points.
I do love that, though.
But what, you know, is there a better legend to play? Bit of Octane. So much movement.
I think it has to be Octane. I mean, Valkyrie would be an interesting one to see with it.
Yeah.
But I do like that it is Octane. I think it is exciting to see. I do love that we've got a bit of Deimos just playing for those placements. And, I mean, 2nd place last game. It's not a bad go at things.
Yeah, definitely not. Obviously, I feel like when you are going for those placement kind of games, I think kind of being the champion, taking that 1st place is always going to be so difficult. You really kind of have to hope that the other 2 teams are mid-fight when you arrive.
Can't Jam now reasonably close to this Franco Brits lineup, so it's going to be an interesting one from them. Obviously, Pete did very well last game, so much damage, but didn't find sort of the abundance of kills that potentially the damage did deserve.
I'm liking the composition that Franco Brit's currently running. Quite aggressive, actually. Should work out in their favor very well. Essentially, they want to find a couple more points in the kill department in this one. And rightly so.
Yeah, 7 squads remaining right now. Franco Brits, they are looking pretty good. Just playing on the edge of the ring.
All of those squads are 3, though. No one's been taken down, because obviously Deimos counts as a squad, counts as a player, and with 18 players remaining, it's going to be a lot of 3s. Oh, they're taking their time, lining it up. A little bit of shield damage there. UTFT's taken so much damage, dropped down to half. No shields remaining. Surely it's going to be a Phoenix kit. Back just goes for the shield and the lifeline. Nez has been chipped down as well. Are we going to be seeing another UTFT elimination here?
Yeah, Nez really got caught out there. Luckily, just gets away, able to shield up. Oh, with Gang, though, they certainly could get caught out. Breaker is already down and out.
Can be revived, but it's going to be a tough one.
Well, he's brought down lower. I think that's going to be it. Yeah, Breaker does eventually get found.
And this is what I mentioned about Chet. You know, they've got a lot of placement points. They've got a couple wins under their belt, but they need a couple more fights. August. Oh, that's Deimos getting killed. Oh, no. I love Deimos. Bring him back.
Love the effort. The 1 versus 3s. But yeah, Deimos getting taken out of this one, being eliminated, so 6 squads remaining. A couple of squads losing a man here all there. Breaker, the banner can be recovered for now, but Combo loses another teammate, can be revived by Fred. I think they're just getting out. I think definitely. This is where Gang are gonna have to play placements.
Oh, might not be able to. And that's UTFT.
In the meantime, Kajam just got eliminated. So did Gang. Just so quickly to 3 or 4 squads eliminated in seconds.
It's looking good. Only 4 squads remaining. Obviously, all 3 apiece. UTFT, though, back to their ways. They've got everyone alive. Health's looking good. The weaponry as well. An Eva and an R3. A perfect combo for Nez.
I guarantee we're going to be getting another winner from the last game. The Dream Chasers did fall very early.
We say another winner. UTFT. We've seen a lot of wins from them. Hopefully it's a new addition.
To it.
Yeah, definitely not. Nez has got that drone. I just use it here.
Question, are they going to use it late? But no, just do keep that for now. Just get a bit of info. Just make sure they're not getting flanked on at all. Yeah, because UTFT can get very easily caught out here, but luckily there's not too many squads near them. But Preds of the West, team that did go down so early last time, do still have all 3, and they're holding the line. UTFT, this might not be an engagement they want to take.
Obviously, Preds of the West, they need to kind of focus not only on keeping themselves alive, but keeping themselves away from UTFT.
Yeah, Fred Valkyrie ult comes in here. That's Chess. They're very close by. So many teams starting to collapse on each other. Teams.
All of them close.
Preds of the West, they've got some really good position in here.
Yeah, very high up. Really got the lay of the land.
It could leave them to be targeted.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, that control is going to want to be taken by everyone, really. Who doesn't want that high ground? Yes, Preds have got it, but do they have the weaponry? Do they have the kind of utility, the armor alone, just to hold it off? Because they haven't taken many gunfights. They're really not going to have, you know, as much as everyone else. You can see it just from the armor alone.
Oh, UTFT, they could be getting flanked on here. This is what we mentioned. We did have that recon drone being used for that, but here we go. Information has been gained.
UTFT, though, they've got the high ground. A nice position here. Oh, just peppering them down from the skies. What a position this is for UTFT.
It does look a little bit uncomfortable, though. They could get bombarded with utility. Just these thermite grenades, ultimates, whatever would be needed. But yeah, it is a little bit worrying. Ultimate accelerant is being used, so we can get that drone out a little bit sooner than we thought.
And I think they're going to be re-engaging here. Franco, though, they don't want any of the action.
Maybe they realise who they're taking the fight up against, but yeah, certainly not the most ideal positioning to be fighting with. It's not the nicest gunfight. Damage being dealt there from Clone.
Franco, essentially in a little bit of a rock and a hard place as they are between two squads now. Ooh, nice from Clone. As we mentioned, just that little bit of chip damage might leave their opponents a bit hesitant, but Franco in between Chet and UTFT, definitely a position I wouldn't want to be in. And we still see Preds of the West, they're just chilling up there, keeping themselves alive, and I like it. Get yourself that placement. Yeah, no, definitely
they're in the strong positioning. Oh, the Valkyrie ult is coming through. You can be a little bit exposed from this ult. Chip damage is done, but nothing that significant.
Oh, we see the Preds of the West squad being a little bit split, and they're just getting hopped on them. You're gonna be seeing Clone get really aggressive.
They're the team that want to take the position. You mentioned they looked a little bit caught out, but all these ults are being used now.
Ooh. Clone pop the Predator ult. Drop down to half HP. Surely needs to pop some shields here. There we have it. They wanted to take this fight, but it's really not worked out all too well for them. AJX dropped down quite a lot. Obviously has just popped the shield battery. Oh, that is a perfect fight there. Lightspeed goes down. Great kill from Clone. And he spotted the other. JC trying to take this fight. I'll leave onto Blade. Kieran Uzi's gone down in the process. Oh, and Blade just going to try and get out of there. But there's going to be so many squads closing in on a position. And it's about time. And I think Blade's going down. Peppered there, but this is exactly what we spoke about, that Valkyrie ult. Just get yourself out of that. Try and keep yourself alive as long as possible. Lightspeed's been eliminated. Blade is all that remains for Preds of the West. Oh, I say that, UTFT, they'll take him down. Blade wanted to get out of the fight, get out of the action, but jumps straight into the hands of the UFT squad.
Yeah, no safe haven there at all. UTFT, they'll be very happy with that. Just a cheeky kill coming their way after all the damage was dealt by Franco Brits.
So we've got Franco Brits, Chet, and UTFT that remain here.
A bit of a stalemate here. UTFT have been in this position for quite a while. We saw Franco Brits, they did reclaim that sort of facility. That was under the control of Preds of the West, but yeah, massively caught out. You mentioned they were very split, and it was just the isolated kills went the way.
Ooh, a lot of damage inflicted there. You're going to be seeing Franco Brits getting fairly aggressive. That is onto UTFT, but oh, nice damage. Back and forth.
Reconning coming out here for UTFT, going to get all that information. They are going to continue this engagement. Well, it's not massively connecting for UTFT right now, but shields have definitely been isolated and eliminated from so many players.
I think that's Chet's on the horizon as well. They finally come to play. Oh, Genji, though, takes down Clone. AJX eliminates Coach. And this could be the final fight of the game, Charlie. This could be it. A player on each side, apart from UTFT, have gone down. Coach has been finished off as well.
Yeah, it's massively going to favour UTFT here. Just the fact that they do have that extra man. Valkyrie's missiles getting dumped out now. Spots a lot of bodies here.
And even with that information, playing things slow, but UTFT, Genji finds Clone. And there we have it. It's UTFT. Yes, there's two squads remaining because they've got a man advantage in both regards. I think they just need to get aggressive, potentially find one of the squads, eliminate them, and then an easy 3 versus 2, and I think that's what they're doing here. They've spotted the rotation. UTFT are in such a dangerous position now. They've got a little bit of cover on their side as well.
All the best missile usage there from Valk, but they'll still just do a little bit of chip damage. The issue is UTFT, they just want to make sure they don't end up getting sort of teamed on. They don't want these two teams to sort of act as one and lose a pick themselves. They do have to play this cautiously, but yeah, I agree with what you say. Sort of just try to target one of the teams.
That's a nice missile. Keeps them behind cover, and as the zone comes in, oh, JLo really trapped it.
Yeah, and that's Franco Brits gone. Chet's the only people who can contest this UTFC side now.
Oh, Nickbot. That's a shield crack. JLo really needs to provide some oversight. Help from the top. We need to see a kill come through just to bring it level. Ooh, nice that.
Damage to that Valkyrie. But still, just damage isn't what's needed. A lot more than that.
The problem is, it seems as though they're firing off pot shots, but they need a kill. That's big damage. I think they need to take a risk, potentially progress. Yes, you've got that disadvantage, but as time ticks away, it's going to get ever harder. I think they need to try and isolate one of these individuals on the UTFT side, bring things back level, and then you've got a real chance.
You can see how hectic it is to so many targets. Oh, and Nick was surely caught out. It does actually get found. All on JLo, 1 versus 3, Fred.
It's going to be so tough. And now we see UTFT engage, the aggression coming through. The Hellhounds are swarming. And that is a... What a game that was. Obviously, things started off a little slower than the last, but ended in a very nice fashion, obviously with 3 of the top teams in that kind of final standpoint. But what are your thoughts after that one, Charlie?
Yeah, it really was a great game there. Interestingly enough, I want to point out Murky. They had a tough time of things, went down reasonably early. You saw them absolutely caught out. But UTFT, Fred, back to their dominant ways, and it started off with that sort of team elimination of Dream Chasers. sort of just a bombardment of utility being dumped in the house. We saw a bit of a replay there earlier, and just really well played. Here's the final kill from them, but great stuff from UTFT.
Yeah, it was really strong from them. Obviously, gaining a lot of points from that game, kind of recovering from their initial first match, not being ever so successful as we're used to, but still, looking really good from them. Obviously, we saw Franco Brits looking good as well. Chets as well, getting 11 points. The rest of the team's not really gaining all too many points. Seems as though the kills really did just come through from UTFT and Franco Brits.
I mean, three teams are the ones that found all the kills. That's pretty big there. That shows a lot. Just placements for all the others. Obviously, Preds of the West being top 4 still with just that top 4 placement. But yeah, in general, the kills really just being dominated by Franco Brits and UTFT. Chets funded a couple of their own, but obviously that top 3 placement going to be big from them. But here's today's standings. UTFT still not in first, and that's Franco Brits, Fred, despite them not even winning one of the games yet.
Yeah, and I think as well, you've got to imagine Dream Chasers, yes, they're third, but, they really had a tough time in that second match. And it just goes to show that, one win on the day can be enough to keep you in the conversation. But I think the way that UTFT played that kind of final engagement was really, really nice from them. Obviously, we mentioned how, they had 2 teams of 2 that they were playing against, and they could have potentially been a little bit swarmed on. They played things passively, and you can see the point split now. UTFT, they've broken the 200-point mark, and rightly so. They've looked so dominant, and it's interesting that some of the teams that were looking to take that second place have only just breached 100. So it's quite clear that there's a bit of a difference. They've got 6 wins. Their next highest is Chets with 3. So it's clear to see that they are definitely a dominant factor here. And I feel like it was just a classic showing from UTFT. But I like what you said there. 3 teams were the ones to get the kills. It's clear that there's some sides here with a lot more confidence than others. And it's going to be an interesting kind of situation when it does come down to those kills. We potentially need to see a couple of the other sides getting a bit more aggressive and finding those frags.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is the fact that Dream Chasers and UTFT, the 2 teams that have won on each of the rounds, I mean, obviously different rounds, but they've had kind of shockers, really got very minimal points. The thing that both of these teams are going to need to make sure they do is, if they're not going to be the team to win it, they've got to at least be in the conversation. And a team that's done that really well has been Franco Brits. Haven't won a single game, and we mentioned in today's rankings, they're right at the top. Just 2 solid performers. They got the kills, they got some decent placements, and that's been enough for them. If they can continue that, maybe even get themselves a win. There's no reason why they can't be the top of this day.
Yeah, obviously Franco Brits, if they do get themselves a win, keep that kind of kill trajectory going, they're definitely going to be looking good for the rest of the day. But we are just going to be jumping to a short break before the action commences. That obviously the first game might have affected that UTFT side a little, but it's clear to see in that second round that they were bringing that confidence, and I think we could see it here again today.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why they wouldn't after such a good show in there. I mean, it did look like in the first round that they wanted to be the hyper-aggressive UTFT side that we've seen so often, but just losing that early kill really denied it. But there, everything went their way. They took the fights, but they took them very cautiously. It wasn't like
definitely.
they were just stupidly aggressive or very hyper-focused on getting the frags. Everything they did from the first engagement that they had to the final one, it was very structured, very well coordinated. And that's what you mentioned, obviously, at the end of the first game, that end of the second game, sorry, when they were taking that fight onto two teams, yes, they were massively advantaged there, but they didn't rush it. There was no need for them to just sort of go kill at the end of the day. They just need to slow it down, play it safe. They did so, and they did so perfectly.
Yeah, I think as well, the kind of the Arcstar nade kill, that's probably my favorite gunfight out of them all, because you mentioned it was just so slow and methodical. Let's just dump the util on them, and then we can just go in when they've got no shields, they got no health, they're not really going to be ready. Seems as though we are
back to the normal tricks, back to their usual place.
And they got the whole top left of the map, obviously. Might see an early fight here from Pred to the west, though. They are very close in kind of proximity to Cat Jam, yeah.
Yeah, it always seems like these two teams are very nearby each other. Didn't have the actual gunfight last game. Pred to the west, they are getting that information. Okay, they are aware that Cat Jam are very nearby.
I think we might have seen some legend changes here from Pred to the west, potentially going to be adopting a different play style. So, love to see if that takes an effect.
Yeah, they could come top 4 on the last game.
Oh, Clone is already gone down here. Going to make things really tough. Don't think they're going to be all too happy. Franco Brits. That's Murky kind of from Murky eliminating Clone. Great opening duel there.
Yeah, Murky, they've been a team that we sort of have quite high hopes for. Haven't really provided too much in the last few games. I do love that we're seeing kind of with this Wraith champ pick.
You love a bit of Wraith, don't you?
I do love a bit of Wraith. I do main Wraith, so I do love to see that. I mean, but yeah, you rarely do see Wraith in these games.
Yeah, just set up the Watson tripwires, making sure they don't enter here, but it seems as though Murky, they want to take the fight, and oh, okay. Marsh been dropped so early there. AJX wanting to punish, but he's getting crunched in on. He'll go down, it's just JC remaining.
Yeah, Shield's been heavily damaged, Shield's been broken in fact. But this is a real 50-50. I wonder if they're just going to respect, let them res, and then re-go for it, but JC takes the fight. Shield's been broken, but still full health.
Oh, just hiding behind his teammate, and there we have it. JC does go down, and here's the fight that we were expecting earlier on. Pred to the west already have been chipped down massively. Blade tucked away right at the bottom. Kiranuzi trying to make some space. Lightspeed as well amongst the action. This is going to be such an interesting gunfight. They have already lost a player, though. Kiranuzi from the back line, kind of blindly firing. Does go down there. And now it's Lightspeed and Blade trying to weather the storm, but they do take one down. Eliminate player. Are they looking for the res here? Lightspeed.
Yeah, that's another frag there from Lightspeed. Cat Jam do have one player remaining, and they take in the fight to them. The bullets aren't connected from Lightspeed. Blade all to do, and Pred to the west eliminated. 1 versus 2 Fred from X sides.
Yeah, that was brilliant there. It seemed as though Blade wanted to look for that res for Kiranuzi, but didn't really have that confidence. Wasn't 100% sure. Is this actually safe for me to do? I'm worried I'm going to get pushed. And that's exactly, you know, what he should have done. Should have gone for the res. It would have been it would have been a 3 versus 1 there. And it really didn't work out all too well. Blade couldn't get the heal off. Potentially the lack of looting early on cost them that early meds, and potentially cost them the chance in round 3.
Yeah, going to be shut down very early here, but Franco Brits, I believe they were the team that we saw ended up going down. Clone, and obviously that JC fight. But yeah, really unfortunate stuff from Franco Brits. The team that I mentioned, it's just consistency's really been the name of their game. But in this one, not going to have much of a say. 7 squads remaining.
Ooh. gunfight here, Murky. Just going to try and keep themselves at bay.
Yeah, Murky recovered really well. I mean, when you consider that was that 1 versus 1 gunfight between Kinda and JC. And, I mean, it really could have went either way, but Kinda huge victory there. If Murky can go on to win this one, that would be massive. Even just a decent placement, Fred. I mean, that's going to be... You've got to be thinking any points right now that a team like Murky get, they've got to be praising Kinda.
Oh, 100%. Any other points gained from this, all off the back of Kinda.
Dream Chasers, they are going to be repositioning though. Normally you want to do that, the Valkyrie ult on top of any sort of roof, because it does just give you that extra little bit of height, a bit of wiggle room to play with. But either way, not going to be that big an issue. Dream Chasers do make it to their mark.
Yeah, just the slightest elevation really does help you out there. And straight away, Milo back to the old ways on Watson. Setting up just the lates and making sure no one gets in here. Obviously, we saw it from Dream Chasers before. Was that the player that won them? It must have won them that first game. They were stuck in the house. We saw Milo's lasers there.
Yeah, it did. Dream Chasers really did succeed thanks to that Milo sort of kit.
Really nice stuff there, but Kiffer has gone down early. Combo could fall here. We spoke about the movement and how beneficial it can be. And Horizon really working things well here. Chet's though looking for a frag early, and will be Nickbod to try and find it here. Being super deep here.
Yeah, heavily applying this pressure. Really wants to take this gunfight. Okay.
What's going on here?
This is an interesting engagement.
Oh, the missed early shot.
Yeah, almost goes down. Goes back for seconds. And does eventually find the kill. Yeah, that was a worry. Nickbod, in fact, is very low. Gotta start healing up.
Ooh. We'll be able to get the syringe off in time. Only just though.
Yeah, I mean, was a little bit worrying, but yeah, no major issues there. UTFT haven't really had too many engagements early on.
I'm sure these players are good enough to know the exact millisecond of when you need to pop that syringe to keep yourself alive. They've gone through those motions. They've had those situations before. It might look close to us, but they're very confident.
Yeah, I like that though. Adds the tension to the cast.
Oh, 100%. Maybe just get it wrong so you know we can have that even more tension.
It's interesting, Fred. UTFT today, they haven't really gone for too many early engagements. They like to get all their loot, be fully set up before starting to look for these fights. And that's exactly what they do. Right now, they've got everything they could really want, and now they're ready to take the engagements. Now they're ready to fight. They just want to make sure they got their weapons, want to make sure they got their shields, their healing items, whatever they need, and then they're ready to start to frag.
I think as well, it's kind of the caution that everyone else is taking. They don't want to land anywhere near UTFT. They don't want to lose their lives early on. And that's what's allowed UTFT not only to stay alive for so long, but also to just get all that perfect loot. Bit of a gunfight on our hands here. Ooh. Nice from Marsh. Takes things slow, plays things passively. They've got a bit of an avenue now to work with.
There's going to be a bit of a gunfight here.
Ooh.
Slightly stunned. And Marsh does seem to want to push the question. Dream Chasers. They are just trapped up here, but they've been in these really awkward positions so many times. They are used to it.
It seems as though Milo's are very much prepared for any and all action. What are you meant to do? You can't really push into that whatsoever.
Yeah, it is worrying, but oh! Trivia getting caught out, brought down very low. And this could be the perfect time for Murky to try to engage, and that's what they're doing. They're pushing the question. They find the frag. That is Marsh dropping.
Searching for the final player here.
Shield broken.
Caught the reload, but doesn't matter. Dream Chasers.
Yeah, out of this one here. And kill leader in Murky as well. They're right up there. So this is what I mentioned, Fred. This could be a really huge game for Murky. This is a team that we have looked at. We have high hopes, and they haven't massively provided today. But this could be the perfect round to do so. They've already eliminated 2 squads.
Oh, we're seeing UTFT back to their old utility ways. Tax. Get caught out here. Genji going to be coming in from the top. The problem is with this fight, not only is it going to be a tough one for both sides as they're both in the zone, something that they really need to think about, but similarly, is there a way that Jets can get out of here? There's no safe escape.
Horizon ult isn't going to have too much impact.
Oh, and there's the Valkyrie.
And
They've got themselves out of there.
Oh, yeah, there's
go.
a bit of hesitation, just the final player connecting. Damage is being dealt. You can obviously still be shot from here. And Coach, look how low he is, Red.
Be able to get out, though, that is the question. Just in the zone in time.
Oh.
Can the heals come through? Only one syringe. I hope that there's a Phoenix kit, or things are going to get very dicey for Coach. But a great play there. They were completely trapped, potentially in the worst situation you really could be in. And they finally kind of found a way out of it. And that's what we're talking about. You've got Horizon, you've got yourselves Valkyrie, and you can get yourself out of those sticky situations.
Yeah, it's always a really nice sort of contingency, I suppose, to have. Just a bit of a backup. But yeah, it did look very dicey there for Chets, but they are still alive and kicking for now. Another bit of a Valkyrie. Oh, this could easily get shut down, but luckily nobody is near UTFT. They are going to be able to use this, get back inside the ring.
And not only is it beneficial for that ultimate to be used on top of buildings at that high ground, get yourself close to mountains as well, so they're never going to be getting in your way. You can just send yourself over. Obviously, Genji very low, but heals can come through. Obviously, as well, we do have Murky lurking towards very close to the action.
Yeah, Murky being a bit of a team killer here, especially Kinda. So this is where potentially UTF team might not want to take this engagement just yet.
And Jay's really close to the next Evo as well. It's going to be very beneficial.
Just holding their ground now. Seems like everybody's got themselves into a comfortable position, and now maybe a bit of a waiting game.
Well, I think as well, you want to take a fight and eliminate a team, but at the same time, with that mentality, with that playstyle, it can just lose you a whole game. You don't want to be playing all too aggressive. Oh, Deimos, the individual for August, could get caught out here. One problem with Octane is when you do pop that Q, you're losing health and you're in the zone. Deimos making things work here. Oh, it's going to be close.
Actually just on the skirts of the ring here.
Talk about added tension.
I actually do love watching a bit of Deimos. Just this solo play. Just getting to see how it works. I'd love to do something like this. It's just not good enough, though.
I tried Octane.
Certainly giving it a good go.
I've had a couple games with Octane, and I always forget. I'm in the zone, you know, I'm very happy. I'm able to just pop my Q whenever, get that speed boost, and I always forget that self-inflicted damage.
Well, you're eliminating yourself more than the zone is.
Oh, 100%.
More than the enemies, yeah, that's a bit brutal, but...
Well, if anything, does it count as a kill for me? Does it count as I get a kill?
Maybe. I would... If I was Deimos, I'd be looking through the rulebook. Go, though. Drone is being used. A bit of information going to be gained here from UTFT.
Trying to take another fight here. But I think they are just eyeing up all the possibilities, all of the potentials. They might just back away, respect their opponents. Obviously, Genji and Tax both been chipped down massively. Yeah, they're just going to respect Murky. I like that playstyle from UTFT. Have a bit of a gander. Eye up the options. If they take a little bit too much damage, and they will just back away.
Murky, though, did look like they wanted to press the issue a little, but yeah, it looks like they're also retreating, just falling back here, just call it quits.
It's not going to be a full squad finish, though, as a fair few teams have lost some lives.
Yeah, Kajam haven't had too much to say recently. Obviously, we did have that X-Side 1 versus 2 against Preds of the West, but since then, he's been a bit quiet.
Don't really need to say much, though, do they? Just keep yourself alive, get yourself that placement, and when the kills come your way, take them. But I think once you do go hunting for those eliminations, sometimes you'll be on the other side of it.
We see potentially this care package go in the way of Catjam. It looks like we've got somebody out being a bit inquisitive.
Yeah, iron up the options. Ooh, okay. We've got an RE in play.
Yeah, just gets out of there as well, undamaged. Oh, I say undamaged, a little bit chipped damage dealing to the shield there, but can just heal that back up.
I think the RE45, obviously with these long-range engagements, not going to be all too perfect, but once you do get to those, you know, the final stages of the zone, that's where that weapon really will come alive. Very passive here. Don't want to make any mistakes, and rightly so. Catjam just going to be falling back.
Everybody is sort of been just holding down the forts here. Looks like they're only really going to move when the ring's forcing them to.
Yeah, and sometimes you can get kind of caught with your back to the zone, but I think with a lot of teams opting for Valkyrie, it's not going to be the biggest of their problems. But this is exactly what we're seeing from Catjam. You know, their team composition, we've got a Valkyrie, we've got a Seer, we've got a Horizon. All three work so well in tandem. Oh, I love this. So cheeky. I thought they were just going to keep themselves in that cover.
I liked that. That was really cheeky if they stayed there, but no, they are moving. Getting shot at in the meantime, but it's going to be tough for them to actually go down. We've got Fred, 2 teams right there just fell. 4 squads remaining. Deimos was one of them.
Gang has been eliminated as well.
Now it's really starting to heat up just like that. 4 squads, top 4. Everybody secured it now, but people want more than that.
And are we going to see another UTFT finish?
This one's going to be a lot more interesting. Catjam are really going to find themselves in the thick of it. A win like this would really set themselves up for greatness.
Yeah, definitely.
That similar to Predator of the West, Fred, they haven't really had too many kills. They were one of the teams that certainly play a lot more for placements, but this would be such a huge one for them. He's all alone here, I believe.
And we obviously saw what that win did for Dream Chasers. Catjam in a similar kind of situation around those kind of 55 point mark. Got a bit of a tickle in the throat there.
I mean, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
But Murky, they're really in a bit of a awkward situation. Could get really caught out. I mean, there's high ground all around them. They are getting pressured, but not too heavily. They're actually going to be able to... They are just remaining behind cover, not taking too many gunfights, but here's the gunfight. Damage is being dealt, and Murky, kinda in fact, is the one taking this aggression, does just back off in the end.
Yeah, I do like the level of respect that a lot of these teams are giving one another. I say that. I don't think Catjam are given much respect. Pete and Player both been eliminated. It's just Exide once again. We're going to need to see another clutch. Ooh. Will the Reds be able to come through? No, not a chance. UTFT.
Ambitious attempt though, really ambitious. Catjam are eliminated. 3 teams remaining. I mean, you do understand that from Exides there. You sort of think, I've got to try to res my teammates, give ourselves a bit of a chance, or I have to go into this sort of 1-on-3. But yeah, neither side really looking like the best choice.
Yeah, well, obviously the final teams being Chet, UTFT, and Murky. Obviously, 3 of the stronger teams here. As the zone closes in, all teams are very close to one another, really not utilising that extra space.
This is going to be a real photo finish here, Fred.
Well, I'm really liking how Chats are playing this, just leaving Coach to be a bit of a spy in the sky.
They kind of get pressure. Missile barrage coming their way as well.
Oh, nice find though from Kinda. J-Lo does go down. Coach trying to help out, but it's going to be a tough one. Genji does take down Jay as well in the process, so seems as though it's going to be a bit of a Chet's UTFT finish. Unless we can see another crazy clutch.
Chet's dumping utility, but falls right in front of Marsh. There's so many frags going either way. Marsh with a second.
Marsh gets a double there. That is brilliant. And Murky Been given a gift there, Ches. They've been taken down, but now UTFT, they're hungry for the action. And I mentioned that RE45 in these close quarters engagements. Can't wait to see it work out, and it's a bit of a chase here. It's only a matter of time before UTFT closed it out, and once again, the champions here of round 3, replicating their earliest success in the previous matchup. Brilliant stuff there from UTFT.
Yeah, obviously winning the last round as well, taking the victory here. That's 2 in a row now, Fred. Can they continue it? Can they make it 3? But we'll have to wait and see after the break.
Done it again. They're showing their dominance in the server, but it's not that kind of aggressive playstyle that we were kind of expecting. I thought UTFT, the only reason they gained so many points was just from that constant W key, but it seems so orchestrated, so tactical. They're playing things slow, getting themselves to that top 3, and that's where they come alive. And I feel like in those really kind of high pressure situations, that's where they thrive. But what a game for them. Your thoughts, Charlie?
Yeah, it really was. I mean, this was my favorite replay, actually. Just that strange engagement from Ches by the door. But yeah, UTFT, really impressive stuff. I mean, that's the thing that I love about watching UTFT. Like you said, it is that very orchestrated style of aggression, because it is very aggressive, but it's not done in a way that isn't thought through. Everything done about it, you can just tell the communication is 100% so crucial for this UTFT side. And as soon as that falls flat, I think the team, it just won't be nearly as good as it is. But that, luckily for them, it seems to be perfect every single game. And that's 2 wins on the bounce. Can they make it 3? That's going to be the question in, I think, most of our minds.
Yeah, I think obviously they really didn't have the strongest of first games today, but who really cares?
Yeah,
Get 2
and he
wins in a
stepped
row.
up. That's what I
Definitely.
wanted to see, Fred. Where were Murky? They are in fact top because look at that, 12 kills, Fred. Unbelievable, and I think you have to praise kinda.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
playing Wraith there, winning that huge clutch against, I believe it was Dream Chasers, just to actually keep their team alive, and they did that sort of situation a number of times. So in general, I think UTFT, great stuff from them, but Murky, they really stole my heart in that one.
They skyrocketed themselves to second so far today. Team that we have to mention, Franco Brits, really not performing to such a high level. It's clear that Dream Chasers, maybe that win earlier on, a bit of an anomaly for them. Yes, they've had a lot of strong results previously, but the last 2 games haven't gone all too well for them. Murky, though, that is going to put them up to second now in this overall standing. So that performance, so strong from them. And obviously, as you mentioned, that clutch there really has set them up for success. Brilliant there from them. And hopefully we will see Murky win this one. Do we need to see another UTFT win? I feel like we've seen enough.
We've seen so many all the way throughout the tournament at this point. But I mean, that's the thing. The points aren't actually that far apart. I mean, obviously, there is a pretty massive difference, but it wouldn't be surprising if you saw a team like Murky start to step up beyond belief. But Fred, before we go into this one, we will be hopping into a short break and we'll be straight back with some great action.
Welcome back. Obviously, the team that we are going to be looking at is Murky. Absolutely dominated in the kills, got themselves in a decent position as well, but are we going to see them take a victory today? That is the question.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think they need the victory. We saw they didn't get the win there, but they didn't even need to. I mean, they've only had 1 win so far throughout the whole tournament, but just the showing that they had, it was the number of kills that they got on top of just a few extra placement points that really put them so high up. And I think that's going to be the interesting thing to look at is, are they going to be able to keep that up? Because, I mean, 12 kills, I think they got, something like
Yeah,
that. It was
12.
pretty ridiculous. So yeah, the number of kills they got was pretty unbelievable. So I don't know if it's going to be the kills that they should try to keep up. I think just try to keep the level of consistency, because like we mentioned, it's not impossible for UTFT to be sort of taken out, just be dropped from this top spot, but it's not going to be easy, and we're going to really need teams to step up and have that level of consistency that it looked like Franco Brits were going to have, but obviously last game wasn't exactly one that was going in their favor.
And I think as well, for a side like Murky, yes, they've gained a lot of points from the kills, but I think what you really want to be aiming for is around that kind of 10 kill mark plus the win, and that's where you're going to be gaining so many points. Obviously, any more kills is obviously a bit of an added bonus, but yeah, I think obviously with Murky gaining loads of points from the kills there, potentially with the later on in those gunfights, instead of being so aggressive, potentially be a little bit more timid, and that might have put them in a prime position to take the victory. But here we have it. Play day 4, round 4, final game tonight, and let's see who is going to take the crown.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. We've had a few teams that have surprised here or there, but UTFT, after having quite a rough first one, they've really stepped up on these last 2. Could they make it 3 in a row? That's going to be the question I think a number of teams are looking for, and definitely going to be the main goal of UTFT to try to end this sort of round day of right at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, they didn't have the strongest of first games, but things are obviously looking good for them. And once again, the whole of the top left is their domain. The whole of the top, really. It's kind of just Kiffer, Breaker, and Combo that are close to them. It's going to be a bit of a bloodbath here quite early on. Oh, but we do see the back away there from Pete.
It's the exact same thing. We've got Cat Jam and Predator of the West right next to each other once again. Feels like everyone sort of just found what position they're comfortable with and just staying there.
Potentially it might be a little bit of a, where's your UTFT not? Let's go elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, both Cat Jam and Predator of the West are teams that do like to play for placement a lot more than kills. So yeah, maybe it is interesting that they're sort of like, okay, we'll just tuck ourselves in a corner of the map. We'll just stay there and just try to play for placement.
Deimos is quite isolated as well. Obviously another player who's clearly playing for placement. He has the whole of Thermal Station to himself.
I want to see a Deimos victory.
Is that what needs to happen?
That's what I'm looking for. I think that'll be very exciting to see. One thing I think is really impressive is Deimos is, or at least August, the team name. He's actually putting out a decent amount of points. I believe he is on 34. In fact, after today probably will be closer to that 40 mark. So yeah, it certainly is exciting to see what he can actually do, just individually. But I would love to see a Deimos victory.
It can happen. It is going to be tough. Obviously, when you are on your lonesome, you are just kind of hoping for everything to go your way. But it can happen.
It is
be
the
possible.
fan favourite, surely.
Oh, 100%.
He's regardless of what happens, he's found a place in our hearts.
Exactly. Love a bit of Deimos. Hopefully he's still playing Octane. Love a bit of the Octane gameplay. Obviously quite a quiet start here. I think a lot of the teams, they might go for some early engagement. Hasn't really worked in the last 3 games. So let's slow things down. Let's do what we know and what we really can do best.
Yeah, Predator of the West have actually been involved in sort of 2 of the
there we go.
early engagements, and
Kiranusi just found a kill.
That's going to be big for Predator of the West. Not finding too many kills in these last few games, but in general, they're not really a team that are hunting for them a lot of the time. So that is quite a big one there.
It just kick things off, make your kind of the next engagement a little easier. I think it was with the longbow as well. I feel like the snipers don't really get as much love as potentially they should. Obviously, I feel like we see the scout quite a lot in play. Obviously, a lot of LMGs and ARs, but I love to see the snipers. Bring out the longbow.
Yeah, this is actually, we are seeing Chess actually make their way slightly closer to UTFT. Still a decent bit of distance between the teams. They just did use that Valcult. Surely Valkyrie has to be just on majority. In fact, I want to see this. What percentage of teams have a Valkyrie?
Well, if Valkyrie, obviously we saw the champion percentage. Valkyrie was selected 32.5% at the time. So, I'm guessing that is nearly every single squad.
Yeah, it's surely got to be near enough every squad has a Valkyrie.
Well, why wouldn't you? Especially when placement has such a strong...
Looking in previous teams, I think there was one team, Gang, and obviously Deimos, the only two that didn't have a Valkyrie, which is pretty unbelievable. Catjam didn't, but obviously with that third player now, they certainly do. But yeah, it is just really unbelievable to think that it just shows that everybody realizes, yeah, this has to be a part of our team comp, regardless of what playstyle we're playing. We're going to be rolling with that Valk.
I think, yeah, you might lose some kind of aggressive plays, aggressive legends, but I think at the same time, the style of play that a lot of these teams are adopting, just keeping yourself alive as long as possible, without a Valkyrie, you are just lacking so much. Once again, though, UTFT looted and booted, looking very strong so far.
I love how Nez plays this, sort of just this recon drone. Just gets the information, however small it is. Just get a little hint of info, and then pack up your bags, boys, we're moving.
Deimos running over the hills,
There we go.
That's what I'll be dreaming of tonight.
That's my dream vacation. Just the hills with Deimos.
The hills with Deimos, of course. Well, you know, what I think we should do, Charlie, I think we should drop a message to Deimos and ask if he wants some comrades.
No, I think that would lose a lot of the appeal.
And also, we'd definitely be dragging him down.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah,
you think two extra teammates, that's going to be helpful, but no.
No, not with how Deimos plays. He's a lone wolf.
Yeah, and I feel like we're
that's a nice tag, though.
Oh, doubling down.
Franco Brits, they could actually try to engage here. JC is reasonably deep. A bit of a change in the team comp as well from them. They changed. I think they changed every champ. Horizon ult coming through, just gonna slow JC down. Yeah, not gonna want to be too close to that black hole.
Definitely not. Get sucked into that.
They're engaging now, Fred.
Grenades. Yeah, they're pushing through. Still, I feel like a lot of these teams, they are taking things quite cautiously. They're not just going for that full W key. They are really kind of weighing up the options, making sure that when they do take a fight, it is necessary, it's the right one to take it. And also, they've got an escape factor and also a way to engage. Because you don't want to just go into a gunfight, into a pressure situation with no exit.
She's actually dealing a decent amount of damage here with this sniper.
That Arcstar as well.
Kinda back on Wraith, yeah, I like that. Oh, we've seen another Octane thread here. Jay's going to be using that.
I think they're going to be... Obviously, they've got a lot of engagement and disengagement with the Wraith and Octane. I feel like it's a nice combo, but it's very fight dependent. I feel like that's less about survivability and more about kind of getting yourself in, getting yourself out in a kind of safe, calm manner.
In the meantime, for Gang have actually fallen. Took an early engagement. All of their players fell, and we could have a big gunfight here. Plenty of teams surrounding this facility.
It should be a bit of a dangerous one. 4 teams now slowly encroaching.
The Dream Chasers are the ones who already have this ground, but they're the ones who are going to get crunched on, potentially the first to fall.
Maybe just give it up. It's a lot of control, but it's not really in the zone. Just get yourself out of there. Bit of damage there from Trivia. Just take some back, though, so we'll just fall away.
That's going to be the question, though. Obviously, these teams aren't going to realize how many are actually all around this area until potentially it's a little too late. They don't have a seer or anything, so you can't really get some of that early info. But obviously, you can with some of these other recon champs.
Shots from the wingman there, not hitting their mark, and Trivia, going through the core step. Just getting absolutely peppered by the acid there. Franco Brits taking a fight. AJX does come out alive.
God, that killed a scout, I believe.
I like that. Use the scout at close range. If you've got the aim, just tap away. I think we might see Pred to the west slowly creep on in. I think they are just evaluating things. Obviously, they're not quick enough to pounce while everyone's low. Obviously, we have seen them fully regen. So Franco Brits in a nice position now. Murky obviously did lose Jay.
He can still recover his banner. The question is, it's going to depend on how this team fight goes. If they don't sort of find these kills early, they might have to just retreat. They might have to give it up.
Nice bit of damage there from Kinda with the Sentinel.
Deimos did fall to X sides, so that's Cat Jam finding a kill.
I like this combo here. Sentinel flatline. Obviously, if you hit that headshot, you're going to be cracking the shield, and then you can switch to the flatline, and I feel like the flatline can work really at all ranges.
Yeah, UTFT, they could be eliminated. Murky here.
Ooh, Tax. Saw him fall early in round 1. Doesn't want to be making that mistake again. Oh, that is brilliant damage with the wingman. And Nez might just push off this. He knows one of them's low. Ooh, milliseconds away from connecting.
Just takes down the player that's already dropped. Oh, and just like that, that's Murky gone. One of the teams that we praised in the last said that potentially they could be looking for this really important win, but of course, it's UTFT, the ones that eliminate them.
I don't know.
But yeah.
I don't know. You never know.
Love that there.
I don't know if you saw... I like how much confidence that UTFT have in their own abilities. There was 3 of them there. Instead of all 3 hunting, 2 of them just keeping their eyes out, eyes ready, you know, for a third party coming through, and they just leave one of them to confirm that final kill. And I like it. You know, you don't want to have too much of a hunt. Give up a good position and get yourself caught in a bit of a cul-de-sac.
5 squads remaining already. So we're constantly seeing these shields being broken. That's the regen his.
And they are just going to be falling back. Ooh. Will they be able to get into the kind of the valley? They do it safely.
Yeah, not too many bullets connecting, but it is just that slight bit of chip damage, forcing them back. Just not giving them too much room to play with.
Oh, I think they were trying to look for a Valkyrie ult, but they've spotted some opponents now. And there we have it, Valkyrie ult coming through. They're just getting themselves out of this sticky situation, and rightly so.
Yeah, they're allowed to. Ult doesn't get denied or anything. Trying to see if they can reposition.
UTFT right now, Genji is fairly split from the rest. Could get caught off. Coach tucked away in a corner, needs the heal. Get that shield back up and running. Oh, lovely movement there. Saving some of the fuel as well. Obviously, has got a bit of a rock face to clamber up.
Teams starting to close in on each other. Cat Jam, obviously just on the outskirts. They're the team that we mentioned. They do like to play a little bit more hesitant, a little bit more timid.
Obviously, we've got these 3 teams fighting. Where are the rest? Oh, I love this passive playstyle. Don't know if you've seen it, Charlie, but Franco just staying right on the edge. They emerge from the valleys, and we do have Threads of the West also with a similar mentality. Just stick to the kind of the outskirts, right on the edge of the zone, and hopefully no one gives you a second look.
UTFT, they do spot by using that Horizon ability, trying to tap away. Bullets aren't connecting yet.
Obviously at that range, not the most fun of weapons to use. Don't think you are going to be connecting all too many bullets, but I think they're just going to try and close the distance here. Cat Jam, they've seen these players rotate, and they want to take a fight, they want to kill. They could come through now.
They do have the Valkyrie ult as well in case something goes wrong, but they've been spotted themselves. Damage dealt.
Oh. Joe Bear goes down, so does Blade. Blade has been finished with as well. And that's Kieran Uzi trapped in the cubby now.
Fully aware of it.
Yeah,
damage
Kieran
dealt, but nothing enough. Preds of the West are eliminated. Top 5 for them this time. The 4 squads remaining. Fred, just shields are being broken left, right, and center. This game is constant pressure.
We've got a Kraber, Charlie. Let's see it in action.
Not many bullets at all, and not many bullets connecting.
That's the kind of... It's a bit of a problem with the Kraber. If you are confident in your ability, right, so bring it up. And there it is, 189 damage there. Instantly forcing their opponents back. Genji does get a knock as well. Tax takes down X side. Look at the position Nez got himself in. I think when you are playing an information player, like kind of a reconnaissance legend, it really helps to have that sniper on your back as well, especially when it's the Kraber. And oh, what a shot there! Drops down Coach.
And that eliminates Kajam. That's them gone. More damage dealt, and this is where UTFT, if they can start to take this engagement, they know that so much damage is being done, and even more from Nez.
Oh, you say that. It is all on Nez now. 1 versus 3 needs to hit the reloads off. Franco Brits, they could win this round. All on Nez, surely gonna get caught out here. 1 versus 3. Is that it?
It's not good for Franco Briz though. Yeah, it's not it just yet, Fred. JC's taking the fight, he's pushing in.
HX is low as well. It's gonna be a 1 versus 1 currently. They spotted Nez hiding away in the house, but he's gonna get caught out here, and what a shot there to close things out. What a final round that was. Obviously, someone had to take down UTFT, and it was a brilliant performance. I'm quite happy that we had another victor, and obviously, you know, brilliant stuff from them. But what are your thoughts after that game, Charlie?
Yeah, 3 different victors today. It's been a really big one. And Franco Brits, the ones who did take it. I mean, the Kings of consistency, like I mentioned, yeah, it did feel like it was about time that they did finally get the victory. Yeah, perfectly played from them. They weren't really too aggressive. It felt like they were playing quite a passive play style. But things certainly did look really good for UTFT there. They had the position advantage. They did the damage. And yet, all of a sudden, while we were watching Nez and his 2 teammates, and then it was just Nez.
Yeah, definitely. It seemed as though it was kind of up in the high ground, popping off with the sniper, but it didn't seem to matter. By the end of it, the rest of his team had fallen, and Franco Brits getting 20 points that game. Obviously, UTFT not too far behind with 16. Chet's getting 12. Cat Jam as well, finding 7. But
That's a decent one there for Kajam, a couple of kills for them.
Yeah,
obviously, Kajam, like I mentioned, they're a team that have been a bit lacking some of the kills here or there. Obviously, only having, I believe, 13, but there we go. That's a couple of kills extra to add to the tally, just pushing them up the leaderboard a little more.
Yeah, it was really nice from obviously the Franco Brits. That's their second win of this season so far, so that's very good. Very good for them. Put themselves 9 points behind UTFT today. That's very good standings, especially when you take into the fact UTFT won 2 games. Not too bad from them at all.
Yes, similar story with Chets as well. Not too far behind both of those teams, and this is the overall standings now. UTFT still around 100 points clear at the top, so still looking very strong. But Franco Brits are in second place now by about 5 points on Murky. Obviously, do have 2 wins on them, but yeah, that's the interesting thing, Chet, sorry, they are second in terms of the wins department, but still, it just shows how important just the kills and placement points are here or there, because Franco Brits, they are in second place, and I'm sure all of those 3 teams would love to take off the Titans of UTFT.
Yeah, Franco Brits were only 7 points ahead of Chet's, before today commenced. And, Franco Brits, they've extended that lead. Obviously, the victory being a massive help for them, but also a lot of kills. I feel like we might need to see potentially a bit of a change of pace for Chet in the future. Yes, they are, finding wins here and there. They're getting good placements, but it's clear to see that the kill's having a lot of impact.
Yeah, it really is. And that's the interesting thing. Before today, out of the top 6 teams, Fred, in the overall standings, Chets were bottom by a significant amount on kills. But in general, they were pretty high up in terms of the points department, and they had the second most wins other than, obviously, UTFT. So you look at that and think, okay, they've got the second most wins, but they've got the least kills, and that's why they're not in as high a position. So yeah, it definitely is the kills that have been lacking a bit, but that's the thing I love about watching these Apex games. The fact that it's not just, let's just hide in a corner and sort of wait out the clock, really, wait out the other team's fights. It really is a mixture of everything. And that's why teams like Franco Brits have pushed their way up to seconds. Teams like Murky are always up there as well, because they do have the ability to finish with strong placements, gets these wins on the board, but also get the frags.
It's clear that, as you mentioned, Murky, Franco Brits, they've got that confidence when it comes to the gunfights, and obviously it gave them that slight edge in that final game. It seemed as though you spoke about Inez kind of at the top, just firing off pot shots. It seems as though that game was only ever going to go their way, but no. The individuals there for Franco Brits, they had enough to find those 2 openers, and Nez completely alone there. So a great win for them. Obviously, to end the day with a bright spark, they put themselves a little bit above some of the kind of opponents that they were facing around that similar mark. I feel like we spoke about kind of, is it really a top 5? It's more of a top 2 to 6, and I guess you just forget about UTFT, because I don't think anyone's going to be catching them.
That's the thing, Fred. Do you think there is a team that could? Do you think it's a possibility that they could sort of get dethroned? I mean, still sort of early doors still. There's still plenty of Apex left to be played.
Yeah.
Can somebody take them down?
I think they'd have to hope, or potentially, I think the only way that UTFT could get taken down is someone's got to bite the bullet, someone's got to drop with them and hope that they can win that opening gunfight. And you've got to take that risk. Yes, it's a coin flip, but let's say you go for that play, or all 4 rounds, and you win it 3 of the times. It means that UTFT, they're only going to be gaining points in one of the maps. I feel like that's the only way that they can get dethroned, because not only are they given that early control where they're not going to have any early engagements, it means the whole of that top left side of the map, it's all theirs for the taking. And that's what's given them the perfect loot, the perfect weaponry, that equipment, utility, everything they could want and more. And then they've got the aim and the mechanical ability to back it up. So that's a problem area for the rest of the sides. And I think if they do want to try and dethrone UTFT, that's what they're going to have to do.
I mean, that could be really exciting to see at sort of the later stages of the tournament, potentially teams where they realize, okay, we've got to find UTFT here. Let's just target them. Let's go for them early. And that's going to be interesting to see if that does have any impact in sort of the long run of things.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like obviously, you've got to try and focus on your own successes. You've got to try and get yourselves in a good placement, and also try and find a couple kills along the way. But the teams towards that kind of top three, top four, their main goal will be to try and take down UTFT, show their strengths, and potentially inflict a little bit of fear in the rest of their opponents' minds. Something that UTFT have done so well at. I feel like straight away from the first couple of days, instantly they've got their whole own area of the map that's theirs. They leave the kind of the scraps for everyone else, and someone's got to battle back. Someone's got to be the one to stand up to the Kings and just and be like, you know what, we're here as well. You should be scared of us too. These UTFT guys, they're nothing compared to us. But no one's really got that confidence. No one's going to be able to do that yet. But what an amazing day it has been.
Yeah, I'm interested, Fred. Do you actually think that the sort of composition part has got anything to do with UTFT success? Obviously, there's been a few changes in their comp here or there, but it's been nothing that major. Whereas a few other teams we've seen a good few bit of mixtures in terms of champs. We've seen sort of teams play completely different champs every game, and maybe only keeping a sort of Valkyrie in the mix. Do you think potentially UTFT's success has come from that level of consistency and sort of communication and familiarity that they have with the composition that they're playing?
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely come from that stage. It's clear that all three individuals, they're very strong on their own legends, and sometimes that's all it's going to come down to. Yes, their composition works out very nicely. Obviously, they have a really strong scout. They've got obviously Valkyrie as well, and it makes sense. I feel like why would you change? You're the dominant factor. Everyone's scared of you. They've got to be the ones to try and switch things up to take you down. But what an amazing day of Apex this was. I believe I'm not too sure who you'll be joined by next Wednesday or next Tuesday, but it should be another amazing day. Once again, thank you very much to Aegon by AOC, Intel, and obviously Logitech. But that's been it from us, and hope to you guys enjoy the next set of Apex days.